Tractate Sanhedrin, page 65. The idea of divination, people go to different form of a tarot reading, psychic, all different ways that people try to have their reading and more. It's not something that's current people needs it. Apparently it's go back to the ancient time. And obviously we ask a simple question, is that a violation of Torah law? Because the Torah tells us in the Ten Commandments and other places that we are not allowed to involve with other gods or in any form of divination. So here we are with the Mishnah. בעל אוב זה פתאום המדבר משחיו ועידוני זה המדבר בפיו. The Mishnah tells us that this list of people that by the biblical term, obviously we need to know the circumstance and everything, by the biblical term they deserve to have skila, which is a severe punishment of execution. So in any type of sorcery, so they use the one who's a necromancer, which is the one, they use here one who's speaking from his armpit, the voice of the dead appear to speak. Obviously, Rashi said and others said that it was special capability to do such a thing. Yidoni, it's a different type of sorcery, whose mouth the dead appears in the speak. So the merely Rashi said it's the one that's called Yadua. It's the name of a certain animal. And that bone speaks by certain, whatever you call it, sorcery, black magic, speaks. Obviously it's a violation. And one whose inquiries from there is in the violation of a prohibition. Tosfot and others said that Al tifnu el haovot ve'leidunim. The Torah said in Leviticus 19, we shall not practice any form of divination. It's important to know that there is a disputation between Maimonides, the great Rambam, the physician, philosopher, and rabbi of the 12th century, who said that all of that is just fake and it's imaginations, versus the Rabbeinu David Kimchi and others that said that, for a good example, the King Saul and others, that it's something that we should be concerned. The Radvaz ask a question, how come King Saul did it? He consulted with a woman that brought the prophet Samuel to life, and he tried to say that it was an issue of saving life. The army lost in the war, and it was pikuach nefesh. There's no other choice. But the great late Rav Vozhner, which is a great rabbi in Israel, in Bnei Brak, once asked a question about using pendula for people who suffer from allergy and others, that you determine a certain medication by using pendula, and you have a response of that, which is like the one who moves, and people ask question if that's any form of divination. But since we talk about a certain thing that they have the karet, that the Torah uses a strong term, that soul shall be cut off, the first Mishnah in Tractate Kitut bring a list of 36 type of violation. Rashi elaborates on that. So Maishna Achad Ekatane Baalov Iduni, or Maishna Gabe Chavek Ridu Ekatane Baalov Veshar Iduni. What's the difference between that list and ours? Rabbi Yochanan Amar Hoil Veshnem Belav Achad Nemru. Rabbi Yochanan said, since both of them, the sorcerer and the other one, Baalov, they stated in the Torah as one prohibition. So one who does that unintentionally, it's not obligated to bring a sin offering. But it's a one who does the two. They have the karet, the serious punishment. So here Rish Lakish brings us a new term that it's called the one that's involved in action. Soon you see a lot of discussion over something that involved in action, not involved in action. He said that one who did it unintentionally is basically not involved with action, so therefore he does not need to bring a sin offering for transgressing about a prohibition that is not involved a real serious action. Rabbi Yochanan Maishna Baalov Denaket, Mishum Bepatach Beikra, because the pasuk in Deuteronomy 18 begins with that. What's the reason Rish Lakish not hold the same? They have a differentiation in regards to a punishment of death. So the Torah divided between the two in Vayikra in Leviticus 20. So Rabbi Yochanan Chalukah de Lav Shma Chalukah, the Mita lo Shma Chalukah. So Rabbi Yochanan said that when it's come to a death penalty, which is the listed separately, it's not considered a division in that regard. ורבי יוחנן הייתה לו אמר קריש לקיש אמר לך מדין דחיתות רבי עקיבא עיד אמר לו בעניין מעשה. So he said that the Mishnah over there in Q2 does not speak about one that involved with actions. So you don't have an action, you don't have chayav chatat, you don't have the obligation to bring sin offering. וריש לקיש נעיד לו ברבי עקיבא מעשה רבה מעשה זוטה בי, but he still said that it involves something, it's a minor action. Minor actions, he did something that soon we explain. Megadef my maaseika, one who's a blasphemer, one who will curse God. What exactly involved? Akimat tzvatav maaseh, that by twisting his lips, it's considering even a small, but it's considering that he does something. Ba'alov my maaseika. The other one, what's the action? But is a necromancer. So they said akashat tzvatav maaseh, because he's striking his arms. That's considering an action. In general, there is a response in halacha about computers. If it's considered as maram primo, it's one of the poskim that dealing with that. You conducted certain things that involve with form of divination. Vafilu the Rabbanan. So even according to the sages that require significant action for one to be obligated to bring sin offering, that there is basically disputed Rabbi Akiva. So he said, "V'atanya eno chayav elal davar sheyesh bo maaseh, kigon zibuach, kituv, nizur v'eshtachava." We learned yesterday and day before yesterday, the only obligation is something that have in action, such as sacrificing an idolatrous offering, burning incense for an idol, pouring a libation to an idol, bowing to an idol. ואמר יש לקיש, מן תנה, השתחווה, רבי עקיבא אמר לו בעניין מעשה. רבי עקיבא hold that even that it not require significant action for a person to be liable. רבי יוחנן אמר אפילו תימא רבנן כפיפת קומתו לרבנן הווה מעשה. He hold that by merely a person who bow down to that idol, that was already considered by the sages as a significant action. השתא יש לקיש בכפיפת קומתו לרבנן לא הווה מעשה. הקשה זרותיו לבעל רוב המעשה. So you told me about striking the בעל רוב, that's considering a significant action. כי כאמר יש לקיש נמי לרבי עקיבא, אבל רבנן לא. יצא מגדף ובעל רוב מבעלי. So if that's the case, so why excluding a blasphemer and Baalov that did not perform an action? In those days it was people who burn incense for a demon in order to raise the dead, which is a significant action. Says one who does burn incense for the demons is an idol worshipper. So he does bringing them to one place. Again, that's form of kishu, form of sorcery. Yad Rama and Rashi elaborate how exactly. That's a different definition. The Torah said in Deuteronomy chapter 18, someone who collected all these charmers, the Torah relate to the different prohibition. It's called one of those chover chever that's receive malkot. So why you say that he gets skila? Ein, והתורה אמרה חובר זה בסקילה. To receive the same as others. תנו רבנן, וחובר חבר אחד חבר גדול וחבר קטן. So the Torah, when the Torah said that one who charmer is a prohibition applies to large or small animals, makes no difference. ואפילו נחשים ועקרבים, even gathering snakes and scorpions. So obviously the rabbi said that they do it even the other way around, that they should not damage is also prohibited. You look at the Chinese in Thailand and other places, they do such a thing. They use, or tribes in Africa, they do this. They use all these snakes and scorpions to do this. אמר באל כך, היימן דצמד זיבורה והקרבה, אבל גם דכוון דלא לזוקה עשו, is one who bring together a bees, a hornet and scorpion to harm each other is nevertheless prohibited. So Rashi tells us clearly, כיוון שרצים אחריו שאין כאן משום פיקוח נפש. So the Shulchan Aruch, the code, the discussion, when and where and how. ורבי יוחנן מה ישנה דבחיפת חומתו, לרבנן אהבה מעשה וכמעט שפתיו לא אהבה מעשה. So basically by the blasphemer twists his lips, he's not considering an action. אמר רבא שאני מגדף הואיל וישנו בלב. The one who's blasphemer, it's different because he is making it in his heart also. So that you have different view between Rashi and Tosfot here, but basically the whole idea is that the moment he used this type of blasphemy, his intention in central is to the transgression. If he spoke without intention, is not considered a blasphemer. So the idea here is that one is not obligated to bring a sin offering for such an action, and essentially is essentially sin of the heart. But as we said, Tosfot and Chidushei Aram disagree with Rashi. 65b Matibra bezera yatzu edim zomemim she'en ba'im maaseh. So here, the Gemara in Makot, page 5, speaks about edim zomemim, which is conspiring witnesses. So the rejection of Zera said here an answer is he said that when you bring this braita that tell us that one b'shogeg is unintentionally commits a sin that deserve a execution, that's basically excluded conspiring witnesses if they did it unintentionally. So basically they're not obligated to bring a sin offering. Now obviously the Mefarshim have a question there. By merely fact that you talk about edim zomemim, by conspiring witnesses, so they are conspiring, so they try to say that the one that is one of them heard one thing and the other one the other, but anyway, so they said she'en b'maaseh, that it's not involved in action. Ve'amai, so why by merely fact that they do akimat sfatayim, that they moving the lips is not considering maaseh, halitnehu balev, it's not something, a sin that commits by something they did by the heart, but it's by the mouth. Riyad Ramah bring the Chidushei Aram, he says that the merely fact that they express themselves in the Bet Din, that's basically the cause. So why they are excluded from bringing Chatat offering? So Amar Rava Shani Dim Zomim Oil V'yeshno Bekol. Bekol meaning that they express themselves in the Bet Din, versus blasphemer, as the Rashi explained, it's only by the heart. Now there is a teshuva, just as a side note, from Rabbi Akiva Iger. Rabbi Akiva Iger wrote a long teshuva to his uncle, and he brings this Gemara, this sugya. It's about a fellow that writes in his letter the dates of the Omer. Hayom, so and so, the Omer, Shehem, so and so. So he asked a question, Ktiva, the writing, is that considering the same as Dibur, sheyesh bo maaseh or she'en bo maaseh, is they involve in action or not? Because he said that when it's come to Sfirat HaOmer, the moment you express yourself, you already did it. So how you treated the situation that someone wrote it. So anyway, V'kol Rabbi Yochanan alav maaseu. So that one's voice is not considered an action according to the way Rabbi Yochanan hold. So the Gemara said, V'ayitmar chasma bekol. So here you have a fellow that have an animal, so how he muzzled her, make a huge voice. So he tried to avoid something that the animal tried to eat. So he is in violation of what the Torah said in Deuteronomy 25, you shall not muzzle an ox while he treats out the corn. Lo tachsom shor bedisho. So Tosfot here tried to challenge that, but because how you treated lav she'en bo maaseh. But anyway, ve'iniga bekol. So he led the several species together by projecting a voice. So here you don't have an action, but still you have the voice. So you have a machloket, disputation. Rabbi Yochanan amar chayav, Rish Lakish amar patur. Rabbi Yochanan said that he deserved malkot lashes, and Rish Lakish said he exempt. Rabbi Yochanan amar chayav, akimat piva v'maaseh. Rabbi Yochanan said that twisting one's mouth is considering an action. Rish Lakish amar patur, akimat piva v'maaseh. Rish Lakish said that not. Moving the mouth is not considering an action. So you see here, evidently, the way that the Rabbi Yochanan hold that the transgression one commits by projecting his voice is considered as one involved in actions. So he said dim is different because it's the action is toward the sight, which means it's the important part of the testimony that they saw. So as we said, that is a big question. The Meforshim said, what do you mean? The dim zomim by merely the fact that they're conspiring witness. What exactly involved here? There's already conspiring. So the some Meforshim said that it said ayah. Maratz Chayut challenged it, but this is ayah. That's the way. It's express themselves toward indirect, or one of them said it. It is a teshuva from Rabbi Ben Zion Abba Shaul. Is one of the past generation luminary Sephardic authority, leader, important chacham. So he asked a question about blind people. Nowadays is very advanced with these things. They use animals, they use monkeys, they use dogs, they use all kind of animals to help them. So ask a question, how about Shabbat? You instructed the animals to do certain things, and you try to bring this Gemara. So also there is a teshuva from Rabbi Tzvi Pesach Frank, who was one of the, again, luminary Ashkenazic rabbi in the past generation, Yerushalayim. He asked that question, that when you lead your animal on Shabbat to do certain things, even by implying, nowadays there is a way that people understand thought, give a wink, give a implication, train the animal. Is that a mechamer or not? Because the mechamer, according to the way Tzvi Pesach Frank portrayed, is a pe'ula labehema. You leading the animal to do something because I instructed the animal to do certain things. So if you train dog to light for you, to do certain things for you, is considering Shabbat a problem or not, and he brings this sugya as a proof both that the Shuvah of Rabbi Zion Abba Shaul and Rabbi Tzvi Pesach Frank bring this sugya as a raya, as a proof to that. Anyway, running out of time. Tanu Rabbanan. בעל אוב זה המדבר בין הפרקים ובין הצילי ידיו, עידוני זה המניח עצם ידוע בפיו והוא מדבר מאליו. So as we explain, that's the different, the sorcerer places a bone that the animal called yadua in his mouth, and the bone speaks where it's on. As we said, that this is one of those things that we obviously prohibited to do. It's a Rambam in Pirut HaMishnayot, and Hilchot Avodah Zarah, chapter 7, elaborates how exactly involved. I'll just give you the translation here from the Koran edition. Hilchot Avodah Zarah, chapter 6. So he said, Baal Ovi Doni stands and burns certain herbs, performs various actions, and utters incantations until they inquire images. Someone is speaking to him and answering his questions in a very low voice coming from the ground. Obviously it's a violation. Another method of this, it's they take a skull and burn incense and is utter incantations until it seems the voice is heard coming from under this armpit. The rite of a sorcerer is a place where the bone of a creature called Yadua in his mouth and burn incense and perform various actions until he falls as he's knocked down, and he then utters various statements and predicts the future. So obviously all of that things, it's Yadua, most of the Mefarshim, by the way, said that it's a land animal. Some say that it's a human-like animal. It's called Adonai Chaseda. Anyway, Rambam said that he's a bird. Meitivei. והיה כאור בארץ קולך. That's Yeshayahu chapter 29. מה אליו דמשתאי כאורחי? Which means, you mean to say that the dead speak from his grave. So therefore, Rashi said that's the reason why the voice is low. Meitivei. So they said, לא, דסליק ויאתי בין הפרקים משתאי. So sometimes. Yad Ramah, there's a few explanations, but basically that's the idea. It's sometimes, say, call without chayut, without really lively voice. Tashma, ותאמר ישאל שאול אלוהים ראיתי עולים מן הארץ. So before the last word, again the Philistines, King Saul asked the Ov in order to bring Shmuel. As we said, the Ridvaz said that he did it under tremendous press circumstance. מה אליו דמשתאי כאורחי? The regular manner, לא דייתי בין הפרקים משתאי, sometimes the dead speak. תנו רבנן בא לו, ואחד המעלה בזכורו, ואחד הנשאל בגולגולת, מה בין זה לזה? המעלה בזכורו אינו לו כדרכו ואינו לו בשבת, נשאל בגולגולת עולה כדרכו ועולה בשבת. תגמור ask, עולה לאיך הסליק, כמה ימנח, אלא אם העונה כדרכו ועונה בשבת. ואף שאלה, this story that relate to that, ואף שאלה זו שאל טרונוס רופוס את רבי עקיבא, אמר לו, מה יומי יומיים? Why Shabbat is different? אמר לו, מה גבר מגוברין? Why are you different from other people? Jewish, answer with the question. אמר לי, דמר יצווה, שבת נמי דמר יצווה. That's the God's will. אמר לי, אחי, כאמין עליו, מי יאמר דעידנא שבתא? אמר לו, נהר סבתיון יוכיח. So he said, בעלוב יוכיח, קברו של אביו יוכיח שלמה להשן בשבת. אמר לו, ביזיתו בישתו וקיללתו. Anyway, that's a strong language. Yad Ramah said, the merely fact that you mentioned that, Geinom, that's some type of denigration. שואל אוב, היינו ודורש על המתים. Why the two written together, the one who's should deal with Ov and one who inquire for the dead? So דורש למתים כדתניא, דורש למתים זה מרעיב עצמו והולך לדן בית הקברות כדי שתראה עליו רוח טומאה. But someone who's basically he tried to please the demons in a cemetery, so he fast and he sleep in a cemetery, and then he incorporated with those impurity forces. כשרבי עקיבא מגיע למקרה הזה הבוחר, רבי עקיבא read this, he cried. ומה מרעיב עצמו כדי שתשרה עליו רוח טומאה ושורה עליו רוח טומאה? Someone fast in order to incorporate the evil spirit, he have it, מרעיב עצמו כדי שתראה עליו רוח טהורה על אחת כמה וכמה. אבל מה יעשה שעוונותינו גרמו לנו, שנאמר כי אם עוונותיכם מבדילים ביניכם לבין אלוהיכם. So Marsha explained that the deed caused people, like the end of Kiddushin, that people to have distance between them and the Almighty. אמר רבי באו צדיק כבאו עלמא, שנאמר כי אם עבודתכם מבדילים. רבא ברא גברא, שדרה לקמא דרבי עזרא, אבל כמשתאי לבעדי, ולא קמא עד עלי. אמר לי מן חבריית, חזור להפרח. So he returned. Obviously this is one of those stories that the Maharsha said that it's not a real person. There's a book called Yetzirah, it's one of Kabbalistic books that elaborates of what happened. רב חיים ורב הושע וביאת וכל מעלי שבתא. ועסקי בספר יצירה ומדבר לו רגלת תירתא ואכללי. Obviously we have to understand if that's figuratively or real. Anyway, the way the Gemara expresses that they did a combination of words, and that's the way they created that calf. There is a book of the 11th century by the great Rabbi Abulafia. It's called Sefer HaTzirufim. It's a combination of words, and he make it as an amulet. At that time he was under cherem because of that, but he was one of the greatest. Anyway, in Portugal, Spain. Tanu Rabbanan, the Torah said in the Devarim, Deuteronomy 18, מאונן, רבי שמעון אומר זה המעביר על שבעת מיני זכור על העין, אומרים זה האוחז את העיניים, רבי עקיבא אומר זה המחשב עיתים בשעות, ואומר היום יפה לצאת ומחר יפה לקח, לימודי ערבי שביעות, חיטים יפות, עיקורי תניות, מאיות רעות. So all of that is a type of me'onen, soothsayer. So obviously it's prohibited. I wish to have more time, but Mitzvah Shem tomorrow we're going to elaborate of all these different type of sorcery, and as we said, the way that all the Mefarshim put together, that this concept is prohibited, we don't do this, and anyone who does this thing, even indirectly, it's in the, basically it's not in the spirit and not in the, to say the least, with the Torah law.